To begin, I'm going to turn on the screen demo now. So, today our webinar will start with a $15 draw. We will have 3 winners, that is, we will draw $45 in total. How do I participate in these sweepstakes? Very simple. You need to join this group. Regularly, such drawings are sent here, where here there will be a link to the advertised channel. You join it. Send a screenshot to them's help that you joined, and then I bring you in. And then I enter you in the table. Anyone who wants to join us. We are starting to raffle prizes. We will have 3 channels today. These are Alternative, Mr. Trading, and Oracle Trading. You can already unsubscribe from them as a whole. 57 people participated in the first draw, so we go to the random number generator, set the range, save it. Find out the winner's number at number 37. This is our candy Daniel or Daniel. Congratulations! 39 people participated in the next drawing. We return to our generator, set a new range, save it, find out the winner's number at number 35. We have almost at the very end. This is Lenurik. If he calculated correctly, congratulations. And we have the last one. 46 people participated in the last drawing. We return back to the generator, set this range, and find out the winner's number at number 44. Today we have 2 times at the end. This is Myrick 83. Congratulations to all the winners. To pick up the prize, you will need to write to help and pick up your prize. $15 are received from us by referrals of the Bybit, Mexc, and WEEX exchanges. Those who will not be a referral receive 10 of the children from us. If suddenly someone has an account, then it will be possible to transfer this account. Now let's move on to a couple of words about the strategy. Let's talk about how our Pravotka is arranged and move on to trading. In parallel, I will monitor our pump and dump indicator on the Mexc. According to the latest signals, we have nothing interesting. We're not going to look at the digital because it's 76 million turnover, and who is new to us now will understand why we will not watch this signal. So, now let's talk about our indicator, about our strategy, where we have a win rate for the majority, almost 99%. And if you know our strategy well and know how to use money management, then in a long time, the win rate will be close to 100%, that is, there are practically no negative deals. If there is a negative deal, then it is most likely some kind of mistake on your part. So, 99% of our coins roll away. We trade on pumps and dumps. We only go into the short. We look at the signals that only come to the pump, that is, we look at these signals about dumps. We usually skip. When I came to us, the first thing we look at is the 20 daily volume, that is, for 24 hours. If we have a daily volume of 2.5, not less than 2.5 million, and not more than 10 million, then such a coin suits us. If it's less than 2.5 and more than 10 million, then we skip it. And why do we skip these coins? Because if a coin has more than 10 million, then there are very strong manipulations on it, which are very difficult to trade. If you do not have enough knowledge, if you want to learn how to trade such coins, for example, through a professional terminal like a taker, then I advise you to come to our great training. To do this, you will need to contact Andri. If you are interested, write in the chat. I will send you a link of Andri, and you can write to him. We also skip coins with 2.5 million in most cases, because if a coin has less than this amount of 2.5 million there, then, as a rule, the coin can fly away a lot. If you do not conduct any technical analysis, then there is a chance that you can enter at a time when the coin will go up another 50 to 100%. Observing risk management, you will not lose much. You will most likely even be able to sit out and close in a plus and make money on it. We have 1% of coins that are not rolled in, but I would even say that less than 1% is because there are coins like here and Mubarak. Now I'm going to show you how these coins look in the chart. We had these coins flying very high at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, in the month of March. Mubarak has pampered such a famous popular personality as the CEO of Binance, if I'm not mistaken, the former CEO of Binance. Here we see that our coin has been pumped by 400%. This coin can be conditionally said to be included in the same 1%, but as we see, even here are coins that seem to look strong, roll away below their listing. For example, we now have Marina answering calls at the webinar, who just happened to fall into this coin, so to speak. And at that moment the coin was stuffed, and she sat out for a very long time. If he can and wants to, he can tell the story of Mubarak, how she managed to sit out this coin.
Good evening, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. My favorite barracks. After that, I don't like sheiks. As I remember now, it was Sunday, a signal came from the indicator that Mubarak had started to pump, and I was like this on a relaxed Sunday afternoon. Fine. I think, why not go in? I'll come in, and just flew into this coin in a big way. And that means I'm waiting for a profit, waiting for it to start falling. I see the guys are stirring in our private room. I think something is wrong. It just went, and that is, all the mistakes that could have been made and that could not have been made, I made them. I have only observed one rule. This is risk management. In other words, I went strictly according to understated risk management, thanks to which I was able to sit out all this trash. I've been sitting in the coin for 3 weeks, even more than 3 weeks, in my opinion. The coin just grew by leaps and bounds. Very guys supported us in the community, because I wasn't the only one who flew into this coin. And when there was a company, it was somehow easier to experience it. Your analysis helped a lot, Nicholas, because, well, if you remember, we pulled you there, that Kalia. Look where she is there. What is she? But my joke is that to change. In this coin, I still decided that yes, okay, I'm going to average. Naturally, my computer froze. I climbed through the phone to average, and since I have poor eyesight, in general, I messed up the buttons. Instead of averaging, I closed my shirt. Order Barrick in the negative, and opened a shirt deal again. That is, the only plus is that it has become a little bit better as an entry point. Because before that, I was right here at the lowest entry point, that is, at the very bottom. I flew into this coin. What have I done? I quickly opened a Wang deal. Not a deal, but a warrant. That is, I began to bite off this minus with the Langs to cover, and I covered it quite well with the Lang orders. I quickly turned into a plus. That is, I covered this minus, which I closed first, but a plus. Of course, I was very nervous, worried, remembered all the prayers of all peoples. But I repeat that the community was very well supported. Somehow, this transaction was easier to experience together. As a result, I kept her in a tense state for 2 weeks. I mean, well, I was nervous. Even though my risk management was preserved, I was still worried. But 2 weeks later, here she updated her ATX and turned around. And then, when I saw that the coin began to fall, my character was already turned on. I'm like, oh, you dog. You've been shaking my nerves, but now I'm going to take revenge on you. I pulled it for quite a long time. That is, I pulled it for more than a week, and I'm pretty good with it. And then I came out of it. Well, because I was already tired of it. That is, she was a pain in my eyes. It was still possible to tighten it further, because it is, well, it falls. And as a result, I don't remember if I took off 3,000%. Well, something like that. That is, the profit was very good. And my mistake was that I didn't look at the volumes. When I flew into this coin, the coin already had a volume of 50 million. Well, that is, this is exactly the match. But again, experience. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the analysis. In other words, this story ended, in my opinion, very well, but it's just a long playing one. But plus, it turned out to be good, and plus experience, and plus profit.
That is, thanks to the fact that you met your REM, you were even able to sit out, and yes, 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 as in general, I have always advised. We had the coin after the listing. You entered the coin after the listing. I always tell everyone that there is a coin after listing, you are going to enter it, although it is impossible. That is, you need to at least make an understated RAM. That is, thanks to the fact that Marina underestimated the REM. I think even if she would have gone in according to the standard REM, and she would still have sat it out, because the REM allows not only just to sit out a coin, but to open one or two more deals in addition. As far as I remember, you also opened other coins. I think it also allowed you to recapture this minus. Yes, here. That is, the minus can be covered quickly, and the deal always, as a rule, closes in plus, and that's how Marina said. You can even take 80% on schedule, even 60% on schedule 3000 with the 50th shoulder there. Yes, you had.
Yes, yes.
Yes, it turns out that she took 60% of the schedule in her own direction, sat out, did not fix the loss. And if I'm not mistaken, she probably gave you a decent increase to the deposit, right?
That's why I say that I picked up very well in the Langs. This is from my entry point. Well, it rose a little higher there when I decided that it was necessary to average, and I held it for a long time, right up to, almost to her ATX. That's when she went to update. That is, I took off very well from her in the Langs, and took off well on the shorts too. So thanks to the sheiks. I don't do that anymore.
So, I also wanted to note about the strategy that we always pay attention to the financing rate. This is a very pretty important factor, because it often happens that the coin is heavily pumped out of the funding screensaver. We have restrictions on the supply of financing. It's -1%, -0.09%. That is, if you see that the Dumka financing rate is growing quite actively in the negative direction. This means that after the timer expires, first of all, money will be written off from you. This percentage will be calculated from the transaction amount, that is, the walrus multiplied by the shoulder. Why the coin will grow, or you, for example, it happens that the coin has been heavily squeezed, and the financing rate has become sharply -2%. This is usually due to the fact that too many artists are in a position, and the exchange is thereby trying, so to speak, to shake out these artists. There is such a group of people who earn on this financing rate. They get up long and earn, but they do not always earn there, because it is very difficult to catch the financing rate, which is very difficult to pay you money more than once after the timer expires. And as a rule, after the timer expires, the coin is instantly dumped. Not all coins are there, but it often happens that way. Therefore, if we see that the financing rate is about -1%, we will definitely skip it. In risk management, we also advise beginners to use the 20th leverage and 0.5% of the deposit. If you want to learn how to trade using the indicator and use it as effectively as possible, then I advise you to take our weekly training. It is also conducted by Andri, where I am the curator, that is, either Andri or I will always help you. We will show you what your mistake is, analyze it in detail, and also give you support in any direction. And also teach you how to use the strategy. And after training you, you will be able to safely open transactions up to 1% of the deposit. And even with the 50th leverage, but at first you need to get used to the indicator, that is, I advise you to start $5,100, make X2, withdraw the body, and already disperse the money that you will not be afraid of losing. That is, psychologically, you will let go of the factor that this is your money. Your money has already been withdrawn. This is already the money that you have earned on the indicator. Now let's move on to the chat overview. What does it consist of? It consists of an informer. Informers, I always inform about our webinars, about entries in webinars. We are also notifying very important information here. For example, the information we have recently released is that we need to activate the bot. If you don't save it, it may happen that you will be removed from private chats and channels. Also, sometimes posts are published here with the fact that you can take part in the draw, but they do not always come here. It is better to keep an eye on this green group where earnings are without investments. In the informer, we also inform about various proms that are quite profitable, and as a rule, they are exclusive only for our referrals. Then we have the point where to start. Be sure to read it. Check out all the indicators that we have, as well as be sure to read the instructions, where everything is described in detail. If you suddenly missed a moment now, did not understand the moment, open this post according to the strategy, read it. If there are any questions left, ask them in the chat. The section Your BNL, where you share your panels. In fact, by throwing off your panel, you motivate not only the group members to trade, but also us as a team. To expand more and more, give you more useful tools, develop the group as a whole, and give you the opportunity to earn more. Then we have a general chat. Here you can always ask any question that you have. Either I or our band members will answer this question. Our community is as friendly as possible. As Marina noticed, even if someone has a negative deal there, then morally you are likely to feel generally comfortable, because you will be supported and helped. Plus, I'll help with the coin analysis there. As much as possible, we will make it so that it is not so difficult for you psychologically to accept this minus or to sit out the coin. Then we have listings, separations. Listings and unlocks, as a rule, I personally publish. There are separations here. For example, according to the Carf Lighthouse, we recently had where 15 million tokens joined. Have become available, which leads, as a rule, to shared movements. I also publish pauses posts here. For example, the last listing we had. We personally had Nazar make almost 3,000%. The person who is not interested in trading at all is engaged in completely different processes, usually organizational. That is, the rating in general, the person as a whole is not keen. Even here he manages to do such panels, 3,000%. Is a pretty strong result. We also recently had a Crenell project, which was listed on WEEX much earlier than on Mexc. If you shorted it on WEEX, then you would be able to pick up 40 to 50% of the net movement on the schedule down. If you went in with the 50th shoulder, then it would be about 2,000%. That is, if you open the kernel chart on the Mexc, you see that the price started trading around somewhere 0.4, and on the VIX, it started trading above 0.7, that is, it was the most ideal point. The coin has not had time to climb on the Mexc yet, and the coin has already rolled there by 30 to 40%. That is, she just got into the Mexc, and you are already in the black. Therefore, I advise you to follow the listing of VIX. We also have therefore an indicator. I'll show you now. Here we have this indicator, where it always reports that, for example, the kernel has been leafed. He was already leafed at 1432, and if I'm not mistaken, at 15-something 00 according to my time. Only on Mexc he was leafed. Then we have a zone of shorts, where I also give coins that work out. Unfortunately, yesterday I took off the Piank limit, because the financing rate was -1 and 6. But if suddenly I saw that Oksana came in there, apparently she didn't notice this message, she took 300% on this coin. I gave this coin on the air yesterday. We closed it in plus until the end of the broadcast, and after the broadcast, Oksana earned it again. Also, other stages are given here, which are worked out here with a 100% win rate. That is, if you look through it here, all the coins that are here, they have always worked out in a plus. And then we have the most important indicators, a mix, a pump and a dump, and a Bybit pump and dump indicator. Two very important indicators that constantly bring us profit. Personally, I did it on Mexc at one time. In the first acceleration I had firm $100 to $1,500, that is, 15x's. Then firm $100 to $700, that is, 7x's. And then again firm $100 to almost $4,000 I dispersed, that is, 40x's I did. I am currently monitoring the DAD indicator and dumps on the left screen. If he sends us something interesting, we will take a look. And also monitor the Bybit indicator, pumps and dumps. The most interesting tool for me here now is this. Let's take a look at the coma we have on WEEX. Then we have a mem coin. We will analyze it immediately at 4 o'clock. The coin bounces off the tone, which is not very good, but there seems to be a resistance zone here. So as if it would be possible to try to go to a small REM, plus it is now sent to someone else by our indicator Mexc. I don't have time. It opened, but not for everything. Here we have an indicator Mexc sent to that we have a coma. The fastest possible analysis, we entered carefully, of course, it did not completely take. But so far we are present in the resistance zone. We will try to take profit. Now let's look at the younger frames there. In general, we have a good running point. And it will not march normally. And that's all it got us because now we are going to pull our profit. Everything is as usual. We have 50% there. Even 80% of the financing rate is normal. It suited us in terms of volume. So we went in and saw a local resistance zone there. In general, I think it will even be possible to fix it. We collected 80% in just a couple of minutes. Smartly, fast. Here is our profit already there. The stream has just started. We are already trading in plus. Now there may be some more with stage no. The indicator will send us, we will go somewhere else. Be sure to share your panels in the Your Panels section. So, here we analyzed the coin very quickly. It didn't take us much time. Turb, we skip less than 1 million. Hick even skip him almost 40 million. By the way, we will send it very well. Even if the niche coin goes, then it's not a big deal at all. I think we will earn more. Here is the ideal zone drawn. If we were to go in for 1% of the deposit for $6, even a little less than 1%, because it's 700. From $700, 1% is $7. We went there for 6 capex. The ideal zone was drawn, and an instant profit was taken. And just for a couple of minutes. So now let's see what else we have. Maybe he sent Alio to Bybit 8 million and film dark. And how so? In my opinion, dark has. Dark at quite such high volumes, if I'm not mistaken. He was at least 10 million yesterday. Now let's take a look at why a person has such a deal. Here we have dark sent 9 million, and yesterday, and as far as I remember, we even had a coin higher than 9 million. I suggest we take a look and see if it was possible to go there. The water yesterday was 10 million for sure. Because it came to us on the stream with a look at the dark, the funding rate is normal. By zone. The coin we have recently got stuck. By the way, here is the resistance zone of the coin. You can try to go 1%. Well, very carefully, if the coin continues to move so impulsively, we will close it, because we have it. If we judge it according to the schedule, then we have a zone here, but it is like this doubtful. Therefore, we will definitely keep it for a very long time, and we will not, moreover, average it. It will be easier to accept a loss here, because the coin has recently been flipped. Burr took the profit from us on the coma too. Congratulations also, if you suddenly want to receive from the stages, well. In addition to the fact that you are trading yourself, you can still receive any stages, count above 12 lambs do not go there. That. I'll find it now. Then I advise you to join our closed group for referrals. In order to get here, you need to write to me on Enzo Help that you want to join. Now I will send you a contact, and here we have regularly here I go stages according to our indicator Mexc. Today we have closed the base at 200%. If when you join the group and look at the results, you will not find a single negative deal here. All transactions are only a plus. For example, yesterday the deal was at 600%, recently 440%, at 200%, 100%, Avai, and 100%, 185%. That is, if you join the group, just look through these signals, then you will not find a single negative transaction for the whole time here. We are flipping through. I will show you that we do not have a single negative transaction. Ruan, Baz plus, 0 bro is also a plus, 1,000 is also a plus, Arpel plus, everything. All our deals are absolutely in the Marathon Plus. Who wants to, write to me on help. You need to be a referral of at least Bybit, Bendix Mix, WEEX, and then I will send you a link to the introduction. So, we keep it for now. Of course, as an option, we try to average, but somehow I don't really want to have almost 3 walruses, that is, 105% of the deposit with us. While we are watching. We are watching. Bargaining, we have a signal there again, it's not scary. Beat the pig lights, this signal was firm. Bam, trouble. We have 12 lambs, so we definitely won't take it there. By the way, there were 2 million, if I'm not mistaken, approximately when I personally gave the signal today. About 3, even 4, 3 and 6, that is, from nowhere, the volumes were taken here. Perhaps the liquidity was collected with some level, let's take a look. Aha, most likely behind this level. Here we have apparently collected a level, here we have collected a level. Here we have collected, here we have collected, and not yet collected here, by the way. Let's go to the Mexc now and mark it there, because there is such a soar on VIX as there are no graphs disappearing. But I drew, so to speak, the levels and zones that we mark. So we were sitting at 4 o'clock, now we're going to celebrate at 4 o'clock again. I suppose. Well, it's unlikely to come in, of course, we will. The prefix of financing, I see, is growing. The maximum where I would consider shorts. By the way, for beginners who have come, take the Fibonacci correction with the left mouse. We have it here in the third point. With the very first one, or Alt-F click, and it will fly out of you. With the left mouse, click on it twice, do not enter it, but remove absolutely all the ticks except 0, 0, 5, and 1. That's it. You have made a Fibonacci, so to speak, a tool that helps you find the middle of the imbalance where it will overlap. Here we have an imbalance, that is, if the coin's volumes fall, and ideally it can be tried here. Or it can be tried with the lowest possible at high volumes, but those who have not undergone any training do not advise doing this, especially if it has higher volumes there. By the way, there are 8 million on the Mexc, so the coin fits us. It's in the mix because of that. Oh, to Bybit, because there is more liquidity. Yes, I noticed that there are only 8 on the Mexc. Yes, thanks Burr. Pump 20 million 5%, or better pump, is probably better to skip. He recently had a lot of pump. Perhaps there is a manipulative movement arranged. You can take a look at this Alio coin. $5 million on the Mexc. It looks interesting, by the way, there is a Protorgovka zone. Here we are now attaching Protorgovki to the lower border. Here it is. Therefore, I propose to go to Alio and take it for 0.5%. Those who are beginners, it's better to go to 0 to 0.25. I'm communicating. We won't be late because of the VIX on this coin. We have here the level is there. It is desirable that it does not become 0.5. I would have waited for the impulse here, coming straight into the zone. This is about where you can probably set the limit. So now, plus our round number, by the way, will be. They threw everything into the limit there. We keep Potter 4 now. That's it, the order has been placed. So, if someone has questions, ask them. You can turn on the microphones, then we will also look to instruct them. Or write in the chat in the comments on YouTube, you can also write. The meaning of the 50th shoulder as a whole, everyone wants it that way, and the person came to us that way in the comments there asks. Let's take a look. Everyone chooses the 20th or 50th shoulder as he wants, the 50th shoulder at most. Personally, with the 50th shoulder, it is easier for me to consider mime. This is what Dmitry Nemov asked on YouTube. Now I'm going to look at our chat. Our burr is sleeping on what it looks like there, and we're going to look at it now, and then we'll look at it. Something is blunting a lot. So let's take a quick look at the mix then. The coin bounces off the very bottom here, I don't like it. At the minute time, everything looks terrible, we won't go in for sure. Even here on the 5-minute charts we have such ragged. These are generally terrible candles for 5 minutes, even for 15 minutes the same thing. Even here on the watch alone as a comb is absolutely terrible. Here he can even stand in the sidewall for 10 hours. More horror. According to Pump, 4 million on the mix, that's 20 million on this one on Bybit. And we will definitely skip this. It makes no sense, rather, the liquid can collect here, what will be unknown next. We still have Uzi Solo, if we're not late. 6 million. I had some old levels marked here, which interestingly work out the old resistance zone. It looks interesting, of course. Honestly, for a minute, it's interesting how the graph looks like the graph on the minute is also not very good. Now it's 15 5 minutes too, and 15 minutes is not very good either. This level we have stabbed, that is, we have the next two levels on the clock, one is quite old. And one, by the way, is very close. It is likely that this is because Solo will be able to pick them up. There's probably still 7 to 10% left, which is not very much. Mimi came to us for a year, just like we skip on Bybit. By the way, I came a long time ago, 3 minutes ago. What should we look at? I came to an interesting zone, this one. This zone is interesting, here you can try to go and levels anywhere. I don't see any immediate levels. So, now we have VIX deigned to postpone, I hope. So we have a coin on VIX, the financing rate is not looked at, and the insert is normal. We have this zone by 1%, you can generally try to enter. Not a very volatile coin, I see. A minute is still tolerable, by the way, probably not volatile, weak. I didn't pay attention to it that her candles are weak, it's quite such a big candle, and not even 1%. While we are watching. In general, there is nothing critical about new signals. Elena Golovko asks Trump a question. I don't know, I didn't look, I didn't follow Andriy in our daily reviews, if I'm not mistaken. He even gave something about Trump. Interesting 3 vertices in a coin. I'll take a look now. Let's take a look and find out. 500 million in the mix for 15 minutes is a bargain, there are interesting coins here. So I still suggest V.so. Here I probably won't do it now. Trump is better analyzed on a larger exchange. I don't remember if it's on the Binance. Yes, there is one on the Binance. It is best to analyze it on the Binance. Now it's on a 15-minute time frame, because Mexc can stab levels, but there can't be stabs on the Binance. This is because there is more liquidity here. Significance has more levels on the Binance. There are two interesting levels, which, when approaching them, you can go into the short. By the way, it is even more interesting. We have another level. The third level. We have quite an interesting cascade. When collecting this cascade, we have a coin that can fly a lot, by the way. They didn't let me in right here. In fact, the resistance zone is here, so there is no stabbing there. This is our resistance zone, I will note now. I think when breaking through this zone, even this zone, at least a coin can come here in the near future. And especially if it collects these levels. In other words, this is 6% according to the schedule, it will be quite strong. From local supports, firm where it is possible to consider for a long time, we will probably have this zone. And of course, it is necessary to be more careful to enter the flanks in such coins. So, her volumes are pretty good. There are 500 million box souls in the mix. I wonder what's going on in boxing. What's wrong? Let's take a look. I'm on the Binance. It's me. On the 1st of April, I'll let you reconsider, right? Or is it not the 1st of April? No, it wasn't the 1st of April. The 1st of April is here. She almost blocked their balance.
Kalia, there's 101 million volume on her on Mexc.
Yes, I know, I'm just curious.
She doesn't look like a barrack.
Yes. No, I'm not planning to come in, I'm just wondering what kind of coin this is. I look at her here since yesterday. This trend line has formed, she has already blocked half of the imbalance with us, even went higher. Let's take a look. There is a 15-minute break from the trend line, so who has been trained a lot with us, if she is already on the Binance in a glass. You can trade her through Tiger now we will try. No, it's a bad habit. It will probably even be possible to draw to slants, but it's best as if for this operation, which I originally drew. That is, clearly here a breakout can occur, and a rebound on the glass needs to be looked at. That is, several developments can occur here. This is, let's say it is going to correction now, it will bounce back from here, if the density is substituted. And only it will at least stab, and continue to collect liquidity here or go up to this trend line. It can also show rebound. It's an interesting coin, but I only trade through Tiger, so it's purely on schedule to enter the Mexc. Such a thing will happen. For a year, we have a coin of the entry point. Dark is hanging out there too, not far from the entry point. Everyone goes back and forth, or maybe they sent something else. Not yet. PC3 can be viewed like this. If someone wants to sort out some coin, write in the chat. We'll sort it out. Write on YouTube too. We will definitely analyze it like this. Dow damn. $100,000 volume only. We're definitely skipping. Elena asks the coin to disassemble mana. Let's take a look. Mana. Here recently, the coin line was stabbed by this ascending trend line. Oh, I had a terrible time. Andri doesn't show up like that. On the head will give. We have such a trend line, which at first was stabbed, went up by the glass. It was possible to work out if it is on the Bybit. And 5% could be taken with a short stop. It was possible to put it somewhere. Here we have a trading zone for 15 minutes, minutes as a local resistance zone, and now on. Yeah, so it's not a local resistance zone anymore. I'm looking. Now we'll draw it better then. So here we have this zone. I wonder if this level is stabbed or not. If this level is stabbed, then she can still go to this level stabbed, so here she left 2 levels of herself. We watch for 4 hours, even 3 levels don't want to, so we have a cat there. I think we can close it. We keep the dark there for now. What's he doing with his head there? This dark one. Of course, I would not like to be compared with her. Danila minus the gift. Only here, of course, RAM needs to go in, there is no other way. Call MARM, because the coin has recently been flipped, and, as a rule, coins after listing are very difficult to work out. Here's a vivid example of Leo. We had a dump, and by the way, I damn forgot about it. We wanted to go into it. Valio, I forgot about her. It is quite possible that human will be stabbed at these two levels, will break through, takes liquidity there. And it will be possible to consider some kind of local short for a downward impulse there. Workshops in short. No, we are not going to shorten it unequivocally, because they are buying it up insanely much. Plus, she's holding on to this level here, as she looks like on a four-part constellation in general. Because she has a resistance zone here, she's standing against this resistance zone. Probably trying to gain strength to break through this level, to update her all-time high. Plus there's a team, team. Those who follow the WEEX, there are X's waiting for it, so no one merges it. He just took Michelle back with me, well done. Now I'm going to throw off my panel too. You're doing even better at the points of the move probably was, right? Or I didn't fix it as beautifully as you, that I collected more than 1%. Yeah, Elena came in with us, congratulations. Vova also came in with us. Well done. All earned. It remains to wait for this shock. To close it as a plus. Although the RAM is understated, but I want to hurry up. Here she even sends spreads, indicators on boxing, so we will definitely skip 187. In my opinion he had less, about 100 very nimble volumes on the woman are growing here. He jumped for 80 million to 110, I don't know, there it is necessary to consider it clearly at some high values. Plus it bounces off the bottom there. So, if someone else has coins that can be disassembled, write in the chat, in the general chat. Someone is suddenly trading from scratch in the chat, write, or on YouTube, you can also write. I follow all the chats everywhere. Or maybe I'm skipping some interesting stage on Alpacan is going to space there. Where did he get such volumes from? Let's take a look. We went into it ourselves yesterday, didn't we? And the bet is minus 0.8. Wow. Elena has done 700% here. Holy shit. Look here. Oh, sort it out, but I'll look here. Elena has almost done 700%. Well done. I believe this coin was recently merged by the bank, yes, because in the deferred futures. I saw on the indicator for a new coin 100 million, so Elena, please be careful. 100 million is a lot. They can be severely punished at any time, so be very, very careful with this coin. They send us to trading from scratch there. Vitaly sends his profits to dark, he took them from the steering wheel. And also collected pogets about like me, even more. Oh, and Vitaly earned money on Komi. Well done. Congratulations. Lock 1 and 8 million, then we look at the lock from the bottom, we have something flying up. I don't like the graph, it's either sideways or falling here. There is a zone at 4 o'clock, but I don't like volume 1 and 8, because if suddenly everyone starts taking liquidity now, there may still be such a half-empty glass, and it will be sad. I don't want this. So I will obviously skip 1 and 8 million of these SELPs. So all. And for beginners, yes, 2 and 5 dashes are 10 million. Here, by the way, is our panel to be scared. Everyone who has not had any training, necessarily 2.5 dash 10 million. That's how you protect yourself from any sharp manipulations on the floor. I don't like these lateral movements at once at 4 o'clock. Such interesting impulses can be worked out, and then probably a person with the same opinion may have come in, if he came in. Because I look at every pump here, a coin has been pumped here, it has been pumped for a pump, it has been pumped here again. It has been pumped, how many 14%, 17%, it has been pumped here. By the way, it is logical here, it was possible to enter here, because they overlap the balance by more than 50%. I'll show you now. It was definitely possible to enter here. There would be good enough points of the move, and from 16 to the peak of 42%, 43% if you pulled. You would be able to pick up on the OL. And how much volume do we have on the mix? Interesting. 30. 30. Too much. It's dangerous to go into such a place. At the bottom of the cinema. Wow, how she pampered from the listing. 700%, 750 even. This miracle is not coins, it can fly without wings through the resistance zones on the day. Now you can find it, by the way. In general it is in the resistance zone, although no, it has already bounced. Yes, you see perfectly. That is, here we have resistance, support was here, then it was broken through here, it was here yesterday. Yes, I came here yesterday, and yes, that is by 23% there. Mavia still asks to be disassembled in YouTube. So let's all I would skip, there are indicators, you send 30 million to me somehow embarrassing. I like that it gives a good dump after each pump, especially when it came to the resistance zone. Look here, literally here. Even here it was possible to take 4% locally. Once again it was possible to enter here, and in an hour it was possible to pick up almost 30% purely on schedule. Generally a buzz. Well, of course, the volumes are shifted, so if you really go in, then to understated REM, plus if you have been trained. That is, you have knowledge without knowledge, and it is categorically impossible to enter such coins. It is very dangerous. Mavia. According to Mavi, if I'm not mistaken, there was a Razlog recently. We sent it to Privatka. Now we're looking at 10 million on Mexc. Here the resistance zone is immediately visible with your eyes. You can do it. Now. It's like a lower bound. You haven't reached the lower limit, have you? Ah, I didn't get it. A little bit, a little bit. And pool. I'm coming back now because the indicator on Bybit sent a pump when it was 5% flooded. Mexc sent it when it was 7% flooded. We have slightly different algorithms for selecting me there and when they should come. By the way, I wanted to take a look at Mavia. There were separations like at night. But no, it was Manta Ray that we had a Razlog, right? She didn't even collect the level, I see. Yes. That is, the coin as a whole can potentially still come to this zone. And here in the zone you can dial after breaking through these two levels. In short, you can consider the edge there. Then the upper border will be stabbed and go away. Let's go to the shelf, if you still went there. Now let's see where your entry point is according to the schedule. Entry point. An exit. In other words, you have recorded a loss. Let's take a look at where you went, and if it's not hard, can you send a signal, forward it so that I understand it when you want. So now we are your point. Wow, we've gone pretty low. But you came out well on the whole. They managed to accept the loss. So, I guess you've probably been here somewhere. April 18th, that is, yesterday. Didn't come out in general right. If you came in here, this is generally a good entry point you had. You could even take a profit here. The question is, why didn't you take it? Next. If you came in here, you could also take profit here. Another question, why didn't you take it? On the 18th of April at 1 o'clock. The question is, do you have time for Moscow time or not? On the 17th of April at 13:00. Can I say my time zone? Because I personally had no such price at 13:00. Yeah, 8 o'clock Moscow time, that is, here somewhere. Probably. 8:13 probably, right. Damn, there was no such move point at 8:13. Ah, 9:13, I'm sorry. Because I have an hour from Moscow. That is, you somehow came here somewhere, and to be honest, I don't understand what kind of one. That is, to the entrance. The entrance was caught. In general, if you came here and here, I told you that you could take a profit as you entered here. That is, the price did not even reach. I have questions, of course. Well, here it is just the same an hour earlier, about. Let's say even here, if you went here, that is, you could collect profit everywhere. You had a good turn point. Have you heard after, roughly speaking, breaking through the level of this one, it was possible to enter when there was an impulse there? In general, you would have a good, ideal entry point, I would say. There was a short movement there, they would have taken it in the chat on YouTube, we have no new comments. We disassembled the Mavi, according to Ola. No, I can say that you came out well, that is, you accepted the loss on time and correctly. So here are the questions for the entry points. Please. So, let's take a look at the gift, because he doesn't want to roll in any way, the rate is still normal. He hasn't even reached 10 lambs, he's probably trying to nail down these levels. This one he stabbed, he still has such levels on top. Not a single level incorrectly marked this one. No, that's the right way. If we're going to average it, then somewhere here we won't keep it for long, because the coin recently got stuck. Don't you like that she has some kind of bargaining there for a minute? Right here. Even if it gives an impulse, it will be possible to calmly average. Because we went to an understated RAM. Alpaca we skip. Ultima will be able to take a look at what's going on there. Rather than being reluctant to take Y2, hold 2 N2 lock. Quite a lot of signals were missed. It was as if we were watching Loca 2. We're going to take a look at Ulti now. No, Ultima, but if we noticed this pump, the picture would certainly look interesting from behind. It would be necessary to go to an understated RAM. When the indicator sent us the signal 1917, I probably think here. Yes, on this candle here, it's up to 207 and 5. Some kind of price is strange. 19,000. What kind of coin is this? Who knows? So, well, 6% could be taken away, here for a minute, even 4% is calm. Magic? He will most likely skip in our pipit indicator too. On, I don't like this coin, we will definitely skip it. We took a look, F. We won't even look, I don't see the point. Elena about Alio. Alio has already analyzed it there and, in my opinion, even worked it out due to the fact that I forgot, they accidentally missed it. Yes, I wanted to enter it, but I forgot about it. It's here because we analyzed it. We wanted to come in here, we could have taken 4%. At least this coin can reach the resistance zone. The upward movement she has here is a trend line, which in the future she may break through. Of course, the touches here are so dubious. I mean here at the very start. It is quite likely that it can give an impulse here, and from the lower border, you can try to collect. Well, yes, she didn't get to 0.3, but I said that you could try to go in, and there she had a VIX lag, and I forgot about her. It slipped my mind. We keep the gift for now. The coin doesn't want to go either way. I didn't set a limit, I was sick, I wanted to go to the market. And we have a warrant on the left. Yes, we have a warrant, I forgot everything that I could. Excuse me. According to Lev, we have a warrant in general. Here it is at 0.3012. So yes, we have a limit, we are waiting. Can also transfer the limit, but in general, even the point of the photo will be good. I purposely put it a little lower. A coin already from what? On the 7th of April, we have one in the upward movement, it has bounced so far, only these levels have been stabbed. This level is the probability that it will collect is small, so I think you have set a good limit, which will probably work out as usual after the stream. Like last time, remember, I don't even remember which coin was opened. Nch probably, but not nch. Fear. Well, the day before last, the stream was opened, and after a couple of minutes it opened, 400% brought the panel. I look at Katsu, we probably came out well. Yeah. It reached the resistance zone with an impulse. They came out perfectly. By the way, here she has levels that she has at point-blank range or in general. It will be possible to consider the iodine of this zone here, she may well come here well, we need to be more careful. We need to monitor her. Because the volumes are low. Because of the low volumes, I don't want to leave a limit. So, maybe someone else has questions, coins, if there is, then write, because if there is not, then we think we will slowly finish. Dark will hang. If the dark goes higher, then now I will show where I will consider the elimination. You still have the opportunity to write your own questions there. At least above th, I will consider it in the environment, that is, above 004235. And then there will need to look at the situation. If I average, I will write to the shared zone. That is, in this section in our Privatka, I will definitely inform you so there are no questions in the chat. So, now I'm lagging. On the fix, where to look if without an indicator, then everything is the same as on the Mexc. I'll show you now. Here is the volume for 24 hours, and here the daily volume is written. So I guess this is the last question in our general chat in Privatka, and there are no questions on YouTube either. Then we finish. Yes, we skip. Thanks to everyone who came. Dark will definitely inform you about averaging or closing. Bye to everyone, goodbye to everyone, and have a good evening.